up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J, and we are locked in. Now, people, this is episode 7 of Them, and believe me, I'm working my ass off for y'all. My mama calls like, hey, son, what you doing? I said, Mom, I gotta call you back. These people want these episodes. She's like, of what? I said, Them, I told you to watch it. Boy, I'm not watching that. That's scary. I'm like, Mom, just watch my recaps. But let's jump on into this episode 7. But first, we got to do YouTube stuff. Shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel and want to be a part of this, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Now, episode 7. Yeah, this one, it just keeps getting better and better. I don't know how they did it, but every episode it gets better and better and better. And then white folks keep messing with her. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What I'm gonna do is give y'all the recap for episode 7 of Them. Now, y'all remember my boy Henry done got peer pressured by the tap dance man. He done pistol whipped this white boy in the back of the head because he's asking him, what you doing over there, boy? You lost? Look at me when I'm back. Henry's on a mission, but what is Henry about to do? That is the question. One thing we do know, Henry has that 4-5 on him. He just pistol whipped a man. He's seen a knife in the kitchen, and now he's in Mr. Burke's house. Now, we know that there was somebody in this house. We don't know who it is, but Henry's in here, and it might get ugly. It just might get ugly today, people. First thing Henry does is anything any real gentleman would do. He comes in, he makes him a glass. Now, I got me a glass by me at all times, but I don't do the yak during the middle of the day, so high quality H2O is what I drink on during the daytime. But Henry comes in here, so what do we know? Henry's been drinking with the tap dance man. He just poured up some scotch, and he got that thing on his waist. This is a recipe for disaster. He sets his cup down on the stairwell, and he goes upstairs because he hears some chattering going on. And what does he see? He sees a woman in there. Now, Henry, he has that gun. It's cocked and it's ready and it's in his hand. But he looks at the lady. He's just like, I don't feel like killing nobody right now. And he turns around and walks down the hallway. What does Henry do? He goes in the bathroom, lays the gun on the sink. Man, it's been a long day. And what does he do? Takes a piss in Mr. Burke's bathroom, and then he leaves the house. Now, we ain't killing nobody, but I am gonna take a piss in your house. This right here was good enough for him. It's been a long day. It's been a long day for Henry, and all he wanted to do was just relieve himself a little bit. Our favorite neighbor, Miss Betty, she goes all the way over to George's house. Now she's talking about, George, you remember that promise you said I could just come up here and get away? She's been using George from the start. She wants George to take over, come to the neighborhood, give rid of these blacks, give her a different life than what she has. And George was like, okay, well, drink this then, just a little bit though, just a little bit. Now Betty, she's all worked up, and we know how she feels about the Negroes across the street. And she just got slapped last episode, so she's telling George, she striked me, George. And George is like, what? Someone put their hands on you? George is whipped, and like I said, he ain't even got to sniff it yet. He just going above and beyond for a woman that ain't did nothing for him but leading him on. There must have been something in the drink, because now that she done got so angry, she just looks at George and she's like, oh, kind of lightheaded in George's. Yeah, let's get you on inside so you can get some rest. We didn't slap Betty. Now we got to start packing up the clothes because Gracie, we got to get the hell up out of Compton. We done slapped these good white folk, and we know they about to come down on us. We already seen what the neighborhood can do. They hanging up the little babies, the little dolls. They done burned up the yard. So she's just telling Gracie, listen, pretty much stop talking. Go pack some stuff up. We got to go. She sends Gracie on in the back to get some of her sister's stuff. Because if you remember, Ruby's supposed to be at the house, but Ruby's having cheerleader practice with herself in that basement by herself. Just, yeah, our boys are going to shine. But we got lucky, and she's going down to the basement. She's probably going down there to get the box of her son with the little pillowcase and stuff in it. But we know never go down in this basement alone, people. Never. In no movie do you ever go in the basement alone, especially one that's not well lit. And you know Miss Vera was down there at one point. Nah, I'm not doing that. Just like we guessed, she went down there to get the box of Chester because for her, this is the only memory that she has of the son, other than like pictures. This is like the last physical thing that he was in. So she's taking that, and of course, hey, if we're gonna head out to Watts, why not? We gotta bring the box, man. We're back at Clark's house. Now, we know Clark then took $6,000 out the savings. He like that my money. Betty then ran off. So, of course, Sergeant Wheatley comes over. Now, Dale, he's a quote unquote the leader of these white guys because we know Clark doesn't want any parts of it. But Dale is looking at it like, man, look. If you ain't noticed, that coon across the street then abducted Betty, a good white woman. This black man then stole her. But Sergeant Wheatley doing his job, and the reason Sergeant Wheatley's doing his job, just a refresher, is because he's accepting money from the realtor company to keep order here and bring in more blacks because he get more money. But he's like, no, the car is gone and her purse is gone, so it looks like she left on her own. After we get Dale and his sidekick about the house, he's looking at the sergeant. He's like, what do you really think happened? And the sergeant was like, man, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I know Betty, and just looking at Betty, her purse is gone, her car keys are gone, the car is gone. It looks like she left on her own. Pretty much he's saying, Betty wasn't really for you, bruh. She probably ran off somewhere. And we could all tell Betty wasn't for him because Clark is doing everything he can, working his ass off. And she's just ungrateful. She ain't doing nothing but sitting at the house being neighborhood watch and getting slapped up by Lucky. Just a reminder, Lucky's up 4-0. Game over. Betty is on the couch and she's... boy. My boy George is over here. He got the rope. She's like, are you about to go over there now and go handle this business? I want to come with you. And George is like, nah, you just stay here. You get your rest. But there's got to be something wrong with Betty because she's just laying there and she's out of it. Oh, woozy. Now, George is expressing his love. I told y'all this man's whip. He's talking about, I've never been so happy in my life. This is the most joyous moment. The only thing missing was you, and now you're finally here. And Betty's like, what's going on? And he's like, you're so little. I didn't know how much to put in there, but you just took it to the head. So he didn't put something in this little flask, and she's over here downing it, thinking, okay, we about to go handle some business. George has different plans for you, Betty. And it's going to be an ugly sight because this guy, George, he's a little messed up in the head. And he seems like he's obsessed and in love. Lucky's packing up all the girl's stuff and she starts talking to Hazel. And she's like, Hazel, I know it may be packed over there, but let us come over there. We'll figure it out. We just have to get out this house. And Hazel, she starts talking to Lucky, but it doesn't seem like the normal Hazel. Because she's like, you need to talk more about your son. You need to do this and do that. And the things that she's saying doesn't align with the Hazel we met over in Watts. Now she's massaging her shoulders and saying, look at your son. You got to look at him. Maybe he's better off. And this is how she's talking and sounding to. Maybe he's better off in our good Lord's hands. It's like, Hazel, what you got going on back here? Is you drunk or something? And and Lucky, she's sitting here crying because it's hurting because she's looking at her son. But it seems like Hazel's pushing her like, yeah. It's probably good that he's gone. Where's your girls at? And I'm like, this ain't the Hazel I know. When I tell you Henry is going through things, day 7 has not been good for him. Went to work, got into it with the boss. Well, he didn't get into it with the boss. The boss got into it with him. Then he went over there, took a piss at the boss's house. Now he's at the little diner by himself, just getting some coffee because he got to clear his mind. He's like, man, the hell with this place, bro. For real. But it turns out he's not by himself. Mr. Tap Dance Man is here. Now, Mr. Tap Dance Man has become one of my favorite characters. Like I said, if you look at his hand, he's missing these 2 fingers here and the thumb. But he's sitting there with a peach in his hand. And he's telling Henry straight up, don't let them white folks see you thinking. The moment they see you thinking and know that you smart or you could read or something, that's when they gonna kill you. He's like, you gonna get us killed. History lesson. The Tap Dance Man goes into a story about how they used to work out in those fields. Now, they worked in the fields nonstop. It's hot as hell. They said they had a guy that had just got off the boat as a slave. and he's out in the field, but the heat was just too much for him and he ended up passing out. The tap dance man said that there were kids that would run by eating peaches and stuff out of the trees. So what he did when the guy was passed out, he went over to the tree. He didn't pick any fruit off of the tree. He picked up the fruit off of the ground. And it was close to rotten. Pretty much the fruit that nobody would want. Peaches that like had bugs on it, almost rotten. And he took one over to the guy that had passed out. He brings back 3 peaches and he finally gives one to the man that was passed out. And that's all he needed to wake up because they weren't getting any water. So he needed that juice. But this is where things started to get bad. I told you it's a history lesson because this is the stuff that used to happen. He says the master came over there and he said, "Where'd y'all get them peaches from?" And the tap dance man, being smart, he was like, "Oh, I got them over there, but I didn't pick them, sir. I just got them off the ground. No one will want these." After the master said, "Where'd y'all get these peaches from? Because they don't grow over here." He was trying to explain to master that, "Hey, I picked them up off the ground." And the tap dance man was smart, but he was like, "Can't no man but God own these fruit. So why can't we eat them?" So the master said, "How many did you take?" And he holds up his hand and he said he took 3 of them. And that's how many master cut off. So that's how the tap dance man has 3 fingers missing, because he picked up peaches and the master cut those fingers off. So he won't ever grab peaches again. Man, it's sad, but this is what happens. After hearing this story, Henry's like, "You know what I would have done?" And this happens all the time now. The tap dance man said, "Not a goddamn thing. If you was a slave back then, you would have just been a slave. You would have got your damn hands cut off and you wouldn't have did nothing." And what the tap dance man is trying to let him know is, you said you would have did something then. Well, how come you didn't do nothing to Mr. Burks when he punked you in that office? You see what I'm saying? People always say what they would have done and what they wouldn't have done in those times. You wouldn't have did a goddamn thing. And we all know it because you ain't doing nothing now. So the tap dance man, he got a point. And then he tells Henry, "Yeah, Mr. Burks, you ain't did nothing." "Oh, you couldn't do nothing because he wasn't there? He's never in the right place at the right time?" "Nah, you didn't do nothing because you ain't gonna do nothing." And that's what people have to understand now. It's always, "I wouldn't have done." Yeah, okay. You in that situation, you would have took it just like anybody else did. There's some cops outside. Henry looks over there. The tap dance man say, "What, you scared?" "You scared?" And he's like, "Nah." And then he gives him a quote. "A black man's heaven is what? A white man's hell." So now the tap dance man then hyped Henry up to go do some more ignorant stuff, man. I tell you. Now I told y'all something didn't seem right with Auntie Hazel, because they're in there praying, but everything she's saying, it ain't making no sense. I'm like, man, this ain't right. And Gracie, she's like, what's going on in the living room? Gracie's like, "Mom, who are you in here talking to?" Yeah, her mom, Lucky's like, "They heard me, baby." And like I said, Hazel didn't sound like Hazel. She got the old burnt up face. So she's in here and she's seeing paranormal activity also. Damn, she done got us again. Our little imaginary friend then got our girl to go do cheerleading by herself. They stay in this little storage closet and she tells her like they got makeup on her. And she's like, "I don't want to be like them anymore. I don't want to be ugly." She ends up kissing this imaginary girl. And what they're showing us is that they're brainwashing little black girls to believe that being white is beautiful and black is ugly. So if you look, she's looking down at her hands and now they're white. So she's looking like maybe this is beautiful. She's just getting brainwashed. And they've been doing that for years and years and years. She's even imagining herself with blue eyes. Come on now, you don't get that out of here. She's really losing it now. She takes it to the extreme. She sees a can of white paint now. So she's believing that white is beautiful. She goes over there, dips her hand in there. Whole body is white. And now they're like, "Let's go put on a show so everybody can see you. So everyone can see how beautiful you are." When I tell you she's too far gone, she took the whole paint bucket, dumped it on her head. Her whole dress is white paint. Face is white paint, hair is white paint. She goes out there and starts cheerleading in front of the campfire, and everyone's looking at her like, "What the hell is this nigger doing?" She's just making a complete fool of herself. Brainwashed. Now Lucky's starting to lose it. Everybody's losing it. We got We got Henry riding around the town. We got Ruby painting herself. And now Lucky, she's talking to Gracie like, I know you miss your brother. And we just got to move on from this. And Gracie's like, I know, Mama, but he's in heaven now. Be happy. And then Lucky, she walks off. This damn basement, I keep telling y'all, do not go down in this basement without the National Guard, all the lights on, and in the daytime. But she goes down there, she goes into that corner, and she comes back with an axe. And guess who's there? The man in the black hat. And he's looking down at Gracie, pretty much giving Lucky the signal of, yeah, you need to go ahead and get rid of this little one. And what does she do? She takes a huge swing. I'm talking about, boy, if this thing was at 1 inch closer, she would have took Gracie's head off. Gracie runs up the stairs like, Mama, what are you doing? And what Lucky tries to do, she snaps out of it. She says, oh, Miss Vera was right there next to you. I chopped her head off. We don't have to worry about her no more. Man, the whole time, the man in the black hat. That dude is an evil man. Henry's mind's gone, so he's driving around. He ends up following Sergeant Wheatley. Now, we already know the tap dance man got him doing some weird stuff, talking about, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Pretty much hyping this man up to do some ignorant Sergeant Wheatley comes up and he's like, yeah, well, you know, Betty's missing across the street. They haven't seen her and the house is all torn up. What you know about this? And Henry, he's already been having a hard day. You got the tap dance man in your ear talking about, you ain't gonna do shit. You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. He done hyped Henry up so much, Henry's about to lose it. What did I tell you? The tap dance man reappears in the back seat and he gives Henry an idea. And Henry just let off 3 shots in the cop. Pap, pap. And when he falls down, puts one in his head. Now, the tap dance man then hyped him all the way up, talking about, you ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. And as soon as he kills the cop and goes too far, what does the tap dance man say? Ooh, you done it now. They coming for you. And this happens all the time in the black community. People peer press you into doing stuff that you shouldn't do. This show is giving us all kinds of hints and gems. The tap dance man hyped this man up, got him out of his mind, and now he done went and killed somebody. Ain't no coming back from that. And what did the tap dance man do? He disappeared as soon as he seen he done killed the cops, because now it's on you. You taking this charge by yourself. Dell and his right-hand man, his yes man, pull up on Clark like, dog, we need to go over there right now. We need to straighten this out. This is why your wife is missing. And Clark's like, his car isn't even there. What are you gonna do, terrorize kids? And Dale, we gonna go over there and we gonna get the questions we want. And right when they say that, guess who starts to pull up? Henry then pulled up to the house. He goes in there and what does he see? His daughter in here and all kinds of paint. But before he even notices that, he talks to Lucky. Hey, we gotta get up out of here right now. He looks over and I know he was thinking, man, if we didn't have to get up out this house, I'd ask you what's going on. But she starts apologizing and he knows, hey man, something is really going on now. We need to get the hell out of here. We'll worry about this paint later. The girls that ran outside, Dale and them across the street talking about they making a run for it. Clark's like, let's just chill. I'll go talk to him. Now Henry's in the house and he's getting all the bags and stuff. And then he sees the box, the CE box, the Chester box right here on the ground. So he's like, man, let me see what's really in here. Dale ain't playing around now. He got this gun pulled and he's ready to let that thing loose. He don't care who gets shot, but there's going to be some questions and I want answers. It turns out in the Chester box, listen to me people, in the Chester box, it wasn't just a pillowcase. It wasn't just a wrapped up pillowcase. It's the actual baby's bone. Before they left, she took the baby's bones and put it in the box. Now remember, I told y'all and I alerted y'all earlier, pay attention when she said he'll always be with us. And she literally meant he's going to always be with us. They then carried this dead body across the United States of America. The bones. I know the neighbors are looking like, man, black people are weird for sure. There you go, another wild episode 7 of them. Let me know what y'all think about carrying a baby around. Do y'all think that's where all this bad juju came from? Let me know what y'all think, because that's just extremely wild to me. But I'm J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button. Definitely give me a like and stay tuned for episode 8, 9, and 10. This show is good. I had to break it down for y'all. I couldn't give y'all 10 episode recaps in one day. I had to break it down so we can get a little break and catch up in between. But thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.